Welcome to GREYS, your one-stop shop to finding winners across Australia from the world of greyhound racing. Host David Shortte is joined by Harry Buchanan from the Greyhound Insider, Jaycin Campbell to look at Queensland and Tasmanian chasing, Hall of Famer Neil Brown, Sean Matheson looking at South Australian chasing, New South Wales expert Simon Orchard, and the Shane Train Williams rounds it out with his key plays and kennel mail in WA. Now, over to the team for this week's edition of GREYS.
Yes, good morning and welcome along to GREYS on this Thursday, the 25th of January 2024. David Shortte with you. Hope you're travelling particularly well. We've got a very busy program today, quite a few races for broadcast throughout the course of the next hour, so we will get straight into it and welcome in Harry Buchanan on this Thursday. Welcome to you, Harry.
Yeah, good morning, Shorty. Good morning, listeners. It's good to be with you today, mate.
Absolutely. Got lots on the menu over the next few days. We'll kick off up there at Albion Park tonight. Bit of WA flavour. We see James Jeffries taking on the Stayers with Warm Regards in the first race on the card tonight there at Albion Park. Draws box number 8's currently a $14 chance. The win, $4.60 the place. And then deeper into the program, Cody Charles remains up there in Queensland, and we get to see the national sprint winner in Sage to Neil going around in race number 7 in a gold bullion heat. Draws box number 6, $4.20 to win, $2.05 the place, and of course did an excellent job there in the Golden Ticket Series. Eventually on the clock, finishing second to Star Queenslander Jay is Jay.
Absolutely, Shorty. We'll start with Warm Regards. 3 heats tonight of the Gold Cup there over the 7:10. A little bit of a surprise to see her in the fields, actually, considering she got beaten last week by Disco Daisy at Cannington. In saying that, she can stay punters. Don't be too concerned about the trip. That's probably the track and the ride over there is probably the only downside here, because this is her kind of race, smaller field. And she's not just a grinding stayer, as you know, Shorty. She's got a really good middle and last section on her when she gets some clear running. So, look, she's not out of the race. It's a big ask, absolutely, against these dogs, especially the locals. But she can stay all day, and this 7:10 trip won't bother her at all. Sage Chanel, she was superb last week. Most weeks you'd probably think 29-6 would win that match race series until Jay's Jay came out and put that issue well beyond doubt after 10 metres, but she was comfortably the next quickest. And look, again, she's got that vacant box inside her tonight. The dogging box 2 all natural. He's very, very good. He's a 14-time winner, 10 times at the track, and he consistently breaks 30, and he goes really quick off the mat. He's probably going to lead. She's going to have to get right there. But in saying that, I thought that was her best effort last week around the Albion Park circuit in those 4 goes that she's had, and you know that she'll be hitting the line really hard late. So if she gets any sort of luck, she's going to charge home and she'll get the prize. At the very least, she should run second. Without any disrespect to the other runners, it's one of the easier heats on paper, but they'll do WA proud, Shorty, and I'm certainly not dismissing Warm Regards either.
All right, so good luck tonight there to James Jeffries with Warm Regards, and also Cody Charles with Sage to Neil. We'll be getting around the Sandgropers there. Speaking of getting around the Sandgropers, our big race, the slot race, the Sandgroper, is coming up in April, and we have started on our Wednesday Coast to Coast podcast catching up with different slot holders over the next 3 weeks. We'll be catching up with another half a dozen of the slot holders. If you missed that yesterday, well worth tuning into. We caught up with Stewie from Ram Racing. And of course, Ram Racing last year had a slot in all 3 of the big ones, the Nullarbor, along with the Sandgroper, and of course they had success with Overpass in the Quokka. They're going again for the next 3 years, and it was a wonderful insight from Stewie there from Ram Racing yesterday into the excitement levels and what's gone into to getting involved with the Western Trilogy again for Ram Racing yesterday on the program.
Absolutely, Shorty, and that was a great chat yesterday, and I love what they're all about, the boys at Ram Racing and Stewie. I had a little bit to do with them last year with Elite Machine lining up for the Sandgroper, and we'll do again this year. But just that insight he gave us yesterday, a couple of those bigger shareholders that they have with that Ram Racing syndicate diluting their shares just to allow other people into this atmosphere and this experience of these 3 slot races for the Western Trilogy. I thought that was superb. They're making it affordable for people to have that experience, and yeah, it was a really good insight into how they go about things. And as you said, they're backing up for a couple of years. Looking forward to talking to the next lot of slot holders. We'll do 2 a week for the next few weeks and get insights from those guys, and then we'll start hearing about who will be representing who in terms of which greyhounds will go ahead to line up in the Sandgroper, and we'll have a chat to those connections as well. But that was a ripper start yesterday for our Western Trilogy promotion.
It certainly was. Make sure you tune into that Coast to Coast podcast each and every Wednesday afternoon in the build-up to the Sandgroper. We'll keep you up to speed with all of the latest news as it happens there. Of course, Australia Day tomorrow, Harry, so we will be bringing forward the male collection for this week. Later on this afternoon, we'll team up and, along with Ethan Christian, put together the male collection. If you haven't listened to it before, good opportunity later on today. We have a look at the Meadows Saturday night, Wentworth Park Saturday night, Mandurah Friday, Cannington Saturday night. We go through best across the panel. We get the kennel mail, best roughies for the weekend, best quaddies for the weekend, best novelty plays, very best. It's all there on the mail collection, and that'll drop from 4:30 this afternoon. An early edition with Australia Day being on tomorrow.
Absolutely, and nothing will change other than it will be that day early, and the mail's already been done, and we've got some super racing to look forward to this weekend. And of course, we've got that Express Stake final tomorrow night at Mandurah. We'll cover that on the mail collection this afternoon, and we might as well have a quick look at that now, Shorty. It's a ripper race, that one. We see but your bloke out there in Box 8, West on Odie. I can tell you now that the Danuto mail has already arrived for the mail collection, and bullish is an understatement about West on Odie tomorrow. So that'll be music to your ears, great man. It's race 4 on the card at Mandurah. Start up Ando, Disco Daisy down there in Box 2, the fastest qualifier, Sunset Mirage, and the favourite with Tab Touch at 290. He's very, very tricky box here at Box 5, because Rex Hunter in Box 6 has that really good early speed, and he's also a very good beginner. We've also got the old boy Rippin' Tomahawk, who's going absolutely enormous for mine. He's going to have it up against it, but look, he can step this dog, and if he gets up there and can miss Disco Daisy, who's just having a little issue with that first turn at the moment, he's going to put himself into the race. But while all this is going on and Rex Hunter's carving over, there's going to be one dog out wide here, minding his own business, and it's the $3.40 shot with Tab Touch West on Odie. I reckon he's going to get a few pushes this afternoon, Shorty.
I think that your mail may be well on the mark. I'm very keen West on Odie. I think it's one of the better bets I've seen for a little while, just the way this race maps, and drawn to perfections. Had a run back off that break. Thought it was an excellent return, and with room to zoom out wide on the track, I'd be very surprised if West on Odie doesn't give the Express Stake final a very good shake there tomorrow night. Now, we've got lots of good opportunities later on this evening to build a bank for Australia Day and then into the weekend. Good night of chasing there this evening at Sandown. We see quite a few genuine top liners going around here. There's a card where there's a few warm favourites, but a couple of them look awfully hard to stop. Who do you like on the program?
Yeah, absolutely, Shorty. Of course, it's the Australia Sprint is one of the feature races on the card tonight, and then of course the Maidment Memorial Race 8 on the card over that 595 has a really good field lining up there. I'm going to start early. We'll multi these up. Race 3, number 1, Ethanol Water, into race 4, number 8, Zulu Blast. This isn't my go, clearly. $1.45 into $1.30. I believe the second dog is a genuine $1.05 shot, Zulu Blast. He just wins unless he does something very, very wrong. I just don't know how this field will stop him. He was very good behind Mrs. Avenger last week, and continued to take ground off her late. He probably had an excuse or two, but she's very good, Mrs. Avenger. In saying that, the rest of these just aren't up to him. If you like your $1.30 shots, he's one of the better ones you'll see. But in saying that, I'm also a big Ethanol Water fan. A little bit short around the $1.45, but that's why I'll probably take the multi. If we could just wait a bit longer, there might be a little bit of support for a few other runners in race 3, and that might see Ethanol Water ease out a little bit. We could probably get black odds for that multi. So race 3, number 1, into race 4, number 8. Then an each way play down at race 11 there. Number 8, Cadence Vale. She'll miss the start here and go straight across heels to the fence. normally you probably wouldn't get involved with a dog like that, certainly around Sandown anyway, but there's a lot of wide runners in this race. And I just got a feeling this first turn is going to be very messy, and this favourite, it does struggle to get that last little bit, never be alone. So that on top of a few dogs getting wide, if she gets onto the fence, she's very, very strong, and she's got really good form lines going back through All in Bale, Mapunga Lana. She's ready to break through. So the multi there, race 3, number 1 into race 4, number 8, and then something on race 11, number 8 each way at Sandown this evening.
Very nice. 3-1 into 4-8, the multi, and then each way race 11, number 8, Cadence Bale. Like the way that you've talked us through that map there. Punters, first race for broadcast here on TAB Radio this morning is only a couple of minutes away. It is race number 1 there at Tamworth. It is the Aqua West Showcase Maiden Handicap over the mile. We front up to a very warm favourite here. Stanchich for Aaron Bullock, 136 into 126. Just Breathe 850 into 8. Crux Rebellion's been 6 out to 9. Empress of Milan 8 out to 11. Defitch is 21 to 26. Ultimate Rain 41 and firm. Nikolai 34 to 51. Selvan 41 to 51. And Kaomi is 61 and firm. A hot favourite, Stanchich, to kick off the program there at Tamworth. Due to jump there in 90 seconds. 8 in that time. We'll get through your thoughts for tonight there at Mandurah.
Absolutely, we'll get through these quick, Shorty. Race 9, number 4, Silly Old Bear. We've been sticking with him each week. He'll drop to the fence here, and once the red gets off, he'll just wait for that gap to come. He drives home hard. He's a really good each-way shot, and he will be an each-way price when the market's open. Race 10, number 2, Zipping Lopez. This is his chance. No excuses tonight. He's got the box, and this is certainly a very winnable race. There's no excuses against this field. He should break through track and trip tonight for the first time. And then down to race 11, number 5, Litchfield, another dog who will be an each-way quote. And it's a great show here. Just has to stay close turning for home. And if she does, she'll descend on these. She's got a good form reference here between Prompt Response, Trendy Miss, and right back to Victory Road. So she'll be hard to stop. And then the best bet in the last race, 12, number 6, Sunset Bubble. Superb off box 1 last week. And I will argue that she's probably even better drawn out wide tonight. Certainly outside Dido Bell in box 5, who's a fence crasher, but she's a very good beginner, the 6. She should lead all the way to take us home a winner. Race 9, number 4, race 10, number 2, race 11, number 5, race 12, number 6 at Mandurah this evening. Shorty?
You're listening to Great Greys on TAB Radio.
Where it's time to catch up with Jaycin Campbell. Have a look at this stellar program tonight up at Albion Park. Also some good racing in Hobart to look forward to later on today. Let's welcome in Jaycin Campbell and, of course, in a bit of form as well, Dixie Gambles. I know one of the greyhounds that Jaycin and the team there race has been in very good form. Welcome to you, Jaycin. Congrats on the win there yesterday. You got Dixie Gambles going along beautifully.
Yeah, thanks for that, Shorty. How you going, mate?
Going beautifully, thank you. Of course, the Prince now in charge, Tommy Zavalis, and Graham's been on an absolute winning spree of late.
Yeah, well, as we both know, we've mentioned the Prince a few times on the show, and we're in pretty good hands there, as we both know. So I think she's won now 3 of the last 4, and she's through to a nice feature race for next week's Gold Bullion night. So hopefully she can get the chocolates. There's a few really sharp dogs, such as Respectability and Impressed Dressel going around in that race, but I think if she draws well, in particular inside Julian Banjo, that's the main thing I'm looking for, she can be around the finish, hopefully.
Excellent. Well, fingers crossed they can get a nice box draw there. Okay, we've got a massive program tonight. This is a really good card at Albion Park. Heats of the Gold Cup. And, of course, also deeper into the program, these Gold Bullion heats are first class as well. A bit of WA flavour. We get to see Warm Regards going around in the staying race to kick off the night. And Sage Tennille, who finished second last week on the clock there behind JSJ in the Golden Ticket Series, going around deeper into the program from box number 6. Let's get your thoughts on a big night of chasing.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, leading up to the Gold Bullion next week, we've got 3 heats of the Gold Cup and 4 heats of the Gold Bullion. Sage Tennille, she was absolutely breathtaking last week, back to her brilliant best, 29.61, if you don't mind. Just unfortunately bumped into arguably the best dog in Australia right now in JSJ, and in a format that really suits that dog, he's just an absolute bet down the back straight. We'll kick off race 4, the first heat of the Gold Bullion. I'm happy to play Morton here. Obviously, most punters and listeners will know this dog very well. They knocked back a lot of money for him, and they probably did so in the right for the right reasons. He did come out and win that Queensland Derby 2 starts ago in the scintillating 29.65 by upwards of 5.5 lengths. I think he's really well boxed tonight. Hello Bill right inside him. He's a bit of a muster dog. He takes a stride or two to get going. Obviously, box 5 is vacant. The danger here is Magistrate in the 6. He's a faultless beginner. However, I think if Morton can get underneath him early, Magistrate isn't a dog that's going to run down too many dogs, whereas Morton, he could probably sit off Magistrate and win, but I just think he gets underneath him, Shorty, and I'll make him the best of the night, race 4, number 4, Morton.
All right, and he does have a good record at the circuit. 2 starts there for 2 wins. Already run some pretty slick times too on the way through. Race 4, number 4, Morton, the best for Jaycin Campbell. Who else do you like on this card?
Yeah, race 5, next day of the Gold Bullion. Playing the 8 here, Professor Snitch. More so because I'm a little bit concerned about the favourite Bears Bullet. She was a month between runs on Saturday, and she went down as a $1.45 favourite. She jumped as she normally does, but whether she just didn't have that acceleration or she potentially, I don't want to say she pulled up, but she just sort of eased out of the contest and was just sort of happy to go around. So I think box 1 for her, a little bit of pressure outside, particularly from Cluster and Cindy, who both want to get to the rails. I think Professor Snitch out in the Fairy Floss rug, as we like to say, 3 from 3 from box 8. She went around also on Saturday morning running 29.94, defeating Blue Hornet. I thought that was a nice little pipe opener for her. She's drawn really well out there. The 7 and the 6 dog both want to cut down to the rails, and I think she can mind her own business out there. Just hope she gets that start right, Shorty, because she can sort of be hit and miss. But if she's on tonight, I think she can win the race, and she probably should be favourite.
This is your home of the Greyhound Good Oil, Great Greys.
Well, we're chatting to Jaycin Campbell, having a look at the program tonight at Albion Park. His first 2 key plays, race 4, number 4, Morton, the best on the card, race 5, number 8, Professor Snitch. And we wait until late for our 3rd play, Jaycin.
Yeah, last race in the card, number 11, number 6, Distant Flash. I'm happy to play here. Just a few dogs in this market, his main rivals. They all need to find the front to show their best, and obviously they can't all do that. Distant Flash, he's very well bred. He's a little brother to the King of Aces, and the bitch that won the Security Heat in a ridiculous time. I forgot her name now. However, he's just got to get back and run on here, Shorty. He was really good last week. Pretty unlucky when he went down as an odds-on favourite out of box 8. I expect the dogs outside him to cross him quite easily, and I just think as long as he's close enough, he's good enough in this type of field. I think it's just a 30 and 30 type affair, and I think he's definitely capable of going around that 30 bed mark.
All right, so race 11, number 6, Distant Flash, the 3rd of the key plays tonight at Albion Park. They're chasing down in Tasmania tonight, program at Hobart. You've got a couple of bets for us early on in the piece there?
Yeah, kick it off in race 1, playing the 3 here, Telestia King. He was good on debut. Running second to Buckle Up Alfie. Since had a month off, has trialled 1990 over this track and trip. This plays more so just off the prices. I'm happy to take on Johnny Bear here at $2.40. He's first up in the state. No disrespect to his current trainer now, but in New South Wales he was being trained by Jason Magri, who is arguably one of the best trainers in New South Wales, and he goes at a ridiculous strike rate. I just struggle to fathom how this dog's going to improve, if not even stay at that same level. And I'm a bit suspect on the form. The dog that he beat by 0.3, Texas Playboy, is an 18-start maiden, Shorty. So I think that says what needs to be said there. And then I'll head to race 3, playing Winburn Solstice here. She was heavily supported, suggesting that she had trialled well prior to her debut run in the heat of the Hobart 1000 maiden, which is the feature race later on. She steps back to just a normal 6th grade race here. I think she finds a really good map and box. The 2 dog, which we tipped last week, it was a sick watch, really. Absolutely motored home, but that's the story of her life right now, and that's hard to put a hard and fast rule on any greyhound, especially 4 starts into their career. But she does appear to be one of those dogs that's more than happy to shuffle back to last and run home, whereas I think Winburn Solstice can race on the speed tonight and prove very difficult to run down.
Alrighty, so there we have it, punters. 2 tonight at Hobart. Race 1, number 3, Calladia King. Race 3, number 1, Winburn Solstice. Beautifully done, Jace. Appreciate your time as always here on Great Greys, and wishing you all the very best for the weekend upcoming. Look forward to our chat next week.
Too easy, Shorty. Take care, mate.
There we have a Jaycin Campbell here on a Great Greys, where it is bang on 10:30, and our next race for a broadcast not too far away, a race number 1 of the day there at Ballina. This is over the 1,000 metres, and Dual Statement, our $2.50 favourite on the fixed odds, in from 265. Romy's been easy to back on the second line, 310 to 350. The Statement, money around here, 5 into 440. Mafeed's easy to back, 460 to 650. At longer odds, Cape of Bravado, 41, as big as 61, now 23. Light up the show, $34. All other runners, 34 and upwards. Matty, we might throw back to you for dividends, and then we'll catch up with the Hall of Famer, Neil Brown.
And Rockhampton you speak of, 2 Crypto Star, 180, 120, 3 Well Held was second, 160, No Third, 6 Travelling Sweet, Quinella 170, The Exacta 410, Trifecta 540, 2, 3, 6, 4, first 4, $23.20, sub 2, scratching 1, and wait or otherwise to come.
You are tuned into Shorty and the team on Great Greys.
And it's tremendous to have Neil Brown back with us, the Hall of Famer, fresh off a visit across to South Australia. He was at the Adelaide Oval for the first test between Australia and the West Indies. Welcome to you, Brownie. How was your time at the Adelaide Oval? The game was over fairly quickly, but it looked like a great atmosphere, and another wonderful test match over there at Adelaide, and really well supported by the local community over there. Looked to be a very healthy crowd.
Yeah, it was great. It was a wonderful couple of days. I picked the right 2 days to go, David, didn't I? The first and second day. And plenty of action, plenty of wickets and plenty of runs, and yeah, good, healthy crowd enjoying the cricket. And it was great to get out to Angle Park as well Thursday night and enjoy greyhound racing, as we don't get too many chances these days to get to interstate greyhound meetings. So it was terrific. David really enjoyed it.
Excellent. Great to hear, Brownie. Well, no doubt you're all refreshed and ready to find plenty of winners for the punters. Let's get your thoughts for the early quaddie tonight here at Sandown.
Yeah, 5:15 metre race 1 on the card. The 3's come out, which was going to be pretty short, probably start favourite. So I've made it 7-1-2 now. Got the cash. He's smart young greyhound, showed some early pace last week, and I think can win. And we'll take 1 and 2. In the second race on the night, second leg of the early quad, 5:15 metre race here, and I think it's pretty open, 7, 4, 8 and 1. Probably got Benella Bandit on top. It does race quite well from wide boxes, so a nice draw, and it's going okay with a nice win Sunday. Race number 3, 5.95, third leg of the early quad. Again, fairly open race, 1, 8, 2, 3. I'm going to take Ethanol Water on top from that inside draw. Looks the greyhound to beat. It's racing quite well. Its last 2 have been good. Race number 4, and here I'm going to take 8, 5 and 2 over the 7.15. Smallish Field, Zulu Blast looks the greyhound fairly short. He looks hard to beat off last week's effort, so we'll take 8, 5 and 2. Moving to the main quad tonight, race number 5, 5:15 metre free fall. Good race here. I made it 2, 5 and 3. Got in the hub. He is short, around about the $1.90 mark, but he's a classy greyhound, shown some early speed in his last half a dozen starts, and I think he's the dog to beat. Certainly chances to African Queen. She's shown plenty of early speed and is in really good form. And I think Profiteers can run a forward race from box number 3 for Robbie Britton. So we'll take 2, 5 and 3 in the first leg. The Australian Sprint is one of our main features, 2 group-listed races on the card tonight. Good race. Here I made it 3, 6, 8, and I think you could make a case for the 1, but I'll probably just take 3, 6 and 8. I've got Storm Stroller on top at a bit of odds tonight. Form's been pretty solid, couple of wins at the Meadows, then a couple of placings there. It does race quite well here, got a great record of 7 wins and 5 placings on the track at Sandown Park, but certainly chances to the greyhounds drawn wide. Magic Muffin and Elite Alex has been in terrific form of late here at Sandown Park with a couple of wins, and I think he's racing well enough. Just got to overcome box number 8 tonight, but we'll take 3, 6 and 8 in the second leg.
Just quickly, Brownie, sorry, mate, we're not far away from the first here at Ballina Punters. You've got about 15 seconds to get your bets on our current favourite there with number 7 on the fixed odds here with Tab Touch for race number 1 at Ballina. Jules Statement, a $2.15 favourite. We'll throw back to Matty. Get the call of race number 1 Ballina when we return the remainder of Neil Brown's quaddie tonight there at Sandown.
This is GREYS on Tab Radio. Go, you good thing.
Well, man, providing us some good things tonight. Neil Brown, we're at the halfway point of the quaddie, leg 1, 2, 3 and 5, leg 2, 3, 6 and 8. The third leg of the quaddie tonight is a mixed grade 4 and 5 over the 595 metres. And this regally bred son of Fanta Bale, Kane Bale, draws box number 1 and will go around $1.50 favourite on the fixed odds with Tab Touch Brownie. Most impressive win last time out there, dropping a 34.23 over the 595 here.
He looks hard to beat off box 1. He is very short though, isn't he, David? But he looks a greyhound to beat. I thought Benny Doo might be the serious challenge here, but he's racing really well, beautifully boxed. And I thought Conor Jack's been in really solid form as well. I'm going to include him in the quaddie numbers. He's been racing in really good form his last 3 or 4 starts here at Sandown Park. So we'll take 1, 2 and 4 short price favourite there, Kane Bale off the red. Takes us to the main feature of the night, the time-honoured Maidment Memorial, and over the 595. Good race here, group listed. Pretty hard to tip against Hector Fawley, given his record here at Sandown Park over this distance. He's won 7 from 8. He's a high-quality greyhound, and he does excel over this distance. And I think he can win again with that mighty record here at Sandown. Certainly Succeed was impressive in winning here last week, and I think is the challenge to Hector Fawley. And number 4, Aston Casello's been in very good form. I'm going to include it in the quaddie as well. Been racing very well its last half dozen starts over this distance at 595 and 600 the Meadow. So 8, 7 and 4. If you want to go a little wider, you could maybe stretch it and throw the 3 in, but I'll go 8, 7 and 4. Looking for a couple of better bets tonight. There's some early pace in races 9, 10, 11, and I reckon these greyhounds can possibly all win, David. It's a long stretch declaring that, isn't it? Zipping Menage, I think, around about the 2:30 mark in race number 9 from the 5 alley. I think there's no pace in the early pace in the race at all, apart from that greyhound. Similar Silky Sauce, box number 1 in race 10, it's around the 3:10 mark. I think it could probably find the lead and be hard to catch. And Never Be Alone is probably my best of the night. Race 11, around the $4 mark from box number 5. I think it just leads to from there for Paul Bartolo. So maybe we'll get a bit of cash, a multi or some running doubles here in races 9, 10, 11, David, tonight at Sandown. So good luck and good punting. The Terrelvin Cup, of course, is on tomorrow night. It looks a good race. I think the market's got it pretty well right. I like the 8, Unleashed Kalinda for Jason Thompson, but passed the buck racing well and got attitude also from the Thompson kennel. Look hard, look the ones to beat down there at Terrelvin tomorrow night on their cup night down there. So hope we can find a winner in the next couple of days, David.
Beautifully done, Brownie. Great to have you back here on GREYS, and thanks to Ethan Christian for his great work filling in for you last week as well. Enjoy the weekend upcoming, Brownie. We'll chat next week.
Good on you, David. Thanks, mate.
There we have it, Neil Brown with the latest. Matty will throw back to you with dividends to come out of race number 1 of the day there. Of course, it's all happening. Ballina, Rockhampton, Tamworth, all underway, and not far away from Wangaratta. 11 o'clock will take race number 1 of the day from that venue.
At the SRX, Jules Statement, 190, 110, beat Mo Feed at 220 and Romy $1.30, 640 Quinella, 1050 Exacta, the trifecta 22.90, 7 to 11 plus 5 for the first 4, 245.70, and there were no scratchings with weight to come. Tamworth is the next cab off the rank in 6 minutes. They're up to race 2. Medina, $2, number 4, and into 145 from $1.65 fixed with Tab Touch. That's due at 10 to the hour.
You're listening to GREYS on Tab Radio.
Well, it's time to catch up with Sean Matheson, talk all things South Australian chasing. Welcome to you, Sean. Great to have you on the program today. We're on the blocks with a few races that have been running behind time, putting us back a little. So we'll zip through your thoughts for SA chasing and helping us to find a winner over the next few days. Kicking off with this program tonight at Angle Park. Who do you like?
Yeah, hi David. Great to be on the show again. A little bit wet conditions here in South Australia. Just be mindful of if you're betting tonight, but should be a really nice program. Some good racing. The first of my best bets, David, will be in race 4, and it's number 1 Max Rocker for Ben Rawlings, quoted around $2.70. They'll be happy that Leonard Jinx has been trialling at the Meadows and not going around tonight at Angle Park, so these stayers get a bit of an opportunity to win a race. And I think Max Rocker has been going quite well. A good second 2 starts ago, and not a bad run last week, running 4th. I think he'll lead, and I think being in front of this field, I think he can outstay them to the line. So he's one of the favourites, but I think he can lead, and that's the place to be, I think, tonight.
Race 4, number 1 Max Rocker, first of the specials tonight for Sean. The next
of the specials is actually in race 10, and it's number 5 Basil Brush Rose. The reason why I laugh a little bit, David, is I think this is his race. I mean, you could almost back him every week and hope he produces something out of the ordinary. But this race just suits him. We know that he is a slow beginner. It's only a 5-dog race. I think he will be a bit closer than normal because the race should set up for him quite well. And he was quoted around $3.80, which is actually not too bad a price for him. And he'll just be strong late. You know what you're going to get from him. He'll be out the back, but running home strongly. But these conditions may actually suit him better than the rest of his opponents in this race. So I like him as the next of the specials in race 10.
Like it, old Basil, to get the job done. Race 10, number 5. Heavy conditions certainly suit the run-on dogs, generally the strong ones, and Basil fits the bill there. Race 10, number 5. And the third of your plays?
Third of the plays is actually on an each-way basis, and we've got to go back to race 8, David, and it's number 4, Spontaneous for Nicky Price, quoted around $10. The favourite in the race is number 1, Ferocious Ivy, on the back of a really good heat win where it showed a lot of speed. I do think, though, Ferocious Ivy does like to get off a little bit, so box 1, I think you'll look at her pushing off. Spontaneous, drawn the 4, all the speed is on her inside, so she'll just slot across onto the rail. And as mentioned, I reckon there could be just a bit of movement from the runners in front of her to the first turn. I think she'll be able to push up. She's going to need a little bit of luck over the concluding stages just to get that run. But she's been going really good. She was a good third last week. She's ran fast time at Gawler 3 runs ago. And I just think that the race might just set up quite well for it. At the $10, I think she's a really good each-way value.
Tremendous. Race 8, number 4, Spontaneous at the double figure odds. Well worth an each-way play. Race 4, number 1, Max Rocker. Race 10, number 5, Basil Brush Rose. Race 8, number 4, Spontaneous each way. We've also got chasing at Murray Bridge on Friday and Gawler on Sunday. Anything that you're keen on there, Sean?
So I'll zip through them for you, David. So tomorrow at Murray Bridge, just the one. Race 8, number 2, Immense for Matty Schultz. We tipped Immense last week and got the job done in the last race last Thursday night. Goes to Murray Bridge over the 4:55. Drawn box 2, loves an inside draw, has really good early speed, should lead and should be really, really hard to catch. So race 8, number 2, Immense at Murray Bridge tomorrow. And then on Sunday night, a really big meeting for the club at Gawler. It's their Golden Maiden final, which will be race 5. And hopefully I'll find a winner in that. For the listeners, race 5, number 2, Springvale GREYS. She had her first run. She ran second in her heat. No luck early, blocked for runs late in the race. Don't worry about the time she ran. She just had no luck, and she was extremely heavily supported. I expect she'll benefit from that, as the other runners will in this race. But I think drawn 2, and with that weight of confidence from last week, I think she can get a clearer run and be really hard to beat.
Race 5, number 2, Springvale GREYS in the feature there at Gawler on Sunday. Sean, thanks as always for your work here on Great GREYS. Appreciate it very much. All the very best over the weekend, and look forward to our chat again next week.
All right, terrific, David. We'll talk then.
There we have it. Sean Matheson here on TAB Radio, Great Greys. It's 12 minutes away from 11 o'clock. Our next race for broadcast, Tamworth, comes up in a couple of minutes' time. And here, Medina is a very warm favourite. $1.60 into $1.34 now, crunched at the short odds. Bit of a step, $3.40 right at the $6.50. There's been money at odds for Utopian Spirit, $17 into $7.50. All other runners, $15 and upwards. But an absolute smack job here. Medina, for the Tone Loke fans, $1.60 into $1.34, and Utopian Spirit on the third line, $17 into $7.50. Matty.
Thanks, Shorty. At Ballina, it's correct weight. Tote pays. And after this race at Tamworth, we head to Rockhampton. Montenegro Man at 120, number 150 in fixed betting. Couple of stragglers still heading to the start there at Tamworth.
You're listening to Great Greys on Tab Radio.
And while those stragglers do get to the barriers, let's make a start on Simon Orchard on this Thursday morning. Welcome to you, Simon. How do we find you today?
Yeah, you find me good, Shorty. Just preparing for a big weekend. Of course, the Richmond Straight Cup heats on Saturday, and then, of course, the Muswellbrook Cup, the richest race in the history of the track. 25k for the final, which will be run next Sunday, but the heats this Sunday. Some Group 1 quality heading up there, and Brace is going to step out, the Peter Mossman Opal winner from a couple of years ago, and the Gap camp have sent a couple of really promising young dogs up there as well. So plenty to unfold over the next couple of days here in New South Wales, my friend.
All right, while they're still milling around here behind the barriers for race 2 at Tamworth, let's make a start on your key plays over the next few days. Dapto tonight's been a happy hunting ground of late. Do you like any there this evening, Simon?
Yeah, it sure has, Shorty, and I think race 2, number 8, Rosebery Hustler, we might as well butter up while the going's good. He's been an absolute star at Dapto. I've mentioned him a couple of times. He usually wins when he goes around over the shorts. Box 8, I guess, is the query tonight. 7-dog field, but you're getting about $1.80, $1.90 last check. I reckon that's probably the longest odds that Rosebery Hustler's been for a little while. And there's no sign of a lot of the dogs for Ronnie Alcock who have been matching it toe-to-toe in the last probably 6 months or so. So I reckon Rosebery Hustler race 2, number 8 is worth the bet. And then you might want to multi it up with race 8, number 4, Zipping Leffy for Mick Hardman, who's got good early speed, still only pretty lightly raced. I think 16 race starts for 4 wins. The box 4, again, small field. Jimmy Bale in the 7, probably the main rival, and the market suggests so as well. But I like Zipping Leffy for Mick Hardman. I think he thinks she's got a bit of ability as well, so maybe she can win tonight. Race 8, number 4, they're the 2 best bets at Dapto tonight.
Race 2, number 8, race 8, number 4. Few still to move in here at Tamworth. Get your bets on there, punters. Where else should we be having a play over the next little bit, Simon?
Oh, look, if you're definitely having a look at Richmond tomorrow, I know a lot of punters love betting up the straight. Shall Not, I haven't seen the odds just as yet, but I reckon it's going to be prohibitive and should be winning. He's the best dog in the race by far and away, but I like Shall Not to win. Just have a look at the price. If you want to have a play in the second heat of the Richmond Straight track heats, I'd go for Brute Banner. So it's race 11 on the card, number 8, for Patrick Mulrine. It's been racing pretty well, 10 wins from 12 starts. I'm not sure it's come up against the absolute rigid best of the best up the straight so far, but box 8 certainly should help in a race that's got a bit of quality. Oscar Moses, of course, won the New South Wales National Straight Track Sprint last year, knocked off Shall Not, so he's going to be hard to beat. But I'm just questioning the form. Jason Magri's probably going to get him up, and he'll probably trounce him now that I've mentioned this. But I like Brute Banner, race 11, number 8 in the Richmond Straight Cup. And then in the third heat, I think you can go for Daytona, a visitor from Victoria who wouldn't be making the trip up unless they thought it was a chance. Great form at Healesville. It's just been in absolutely ridiculous form, and I know trial at the track. The trial time wasn't exemplary, but you'd think would take a lot of improvement after having that look. So race 11, number 8, and race 12, number 5, the 2 best bets up the Richmond Straight on Saturday morning.
This is your home of the Greyhound Good Oil, Great Greys.
We were catching up with Simon Orchard, having a look at all things New South Wales chasing. We've had a look at Dapto, Richmond up the straight on Saturday. I've also got a good program, Wentworth Park, on Saturday night. Simon, anything take your fancy there on Saturday evening to have a wager?
Look, we'll start with Sunday, Shorty, and then we'll come back to Wenty Park, hopefully, if we can fit it in. But Sunday, Muswellbrook Cup, I can't emphasise how much money we're giving away there, 25 grand. On the grass at Muswellbrook, and we've got a bit of a predicament, Shorty. Mark Gatt told me a couple of weeks ago in an interview that he always knocks, or at least puts a little cross next to a dog that hasn't had a look at the track. He's taking 2 to Muswellbrook that he admitted haven't seen the track, but I really like one of them in leg speed. So race 9 on the card. It's dog number 2, Leg Speed, has shown just some wonderful speed, pardon the pun, Adapto early in its career. Absolutely flew over the shorter trip and then went to 600 and ran really well also. Comes out of the Collison, which is a hot race, goes into the Musselbrook Cup heat, which I reckon is devoid of that sort of quality. And I just think 571, he's really going to eat that up. So race 9, number 2, Leg Speed, one of the better bets on the card. Then if you go back to race 7 on the program, the first heat, Rita Deborah for the Gat Camp also looks well placed from the 1, but I like Nora's Boy, Shorty. So race 7, number 5, Nora's Boy, won a $1 million chase final at Taree last year for Shawnee Guthrie. He was the tradie that had to ask his boss for a day off to go to the track, and he won the $1 million chase final there at Taree. Just a consistent dog that you know you're going to get a good, honest race. Box 5, I guess, a little bit of the query, but I like Nora's Boy to knock off Richard Deborah. As I said, the Gat Camp said that they haven't had a look. Maybe it's not a betting proposition. I tend to agree a little bit. So there's one for you at Musselbrook as well. And then Wentworth Park, look, there's 2 dogs going around that I think are going to be really short. Race 2, number 3, History's Coming. Of course, we saw what he did in the Derby, absolutely electric, drops dramatically in class, and I think it's almost unfair if he gets away like he did in the Derby. Race 2, number 3, and then race 6, number 8, Zipping Optimise, another one of this wonderful litter from the Magri camp who are just absolutely flying at the moment. Zipping Teresa, Zipping Megatron, and Zipping Optimises. Maybe as good as Megatron as well. So race 6, number 8, a couple. Just have a look at the price. I reckon they're going to be pretty short when they come out.
All right, could be a bit of multi-business for us there on Saturday night at Wentworth Park. Simon, absolutely superb to catch up with you this morning here on Great Greys. Sounds like you've got a very busy schedule. We'll let you get back to it and look forward to our chat again next week. Many winners.
Races coming out of our ears, mate. Hooroo.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.